Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our class. It's a movie class. We will speak about fantastic movie about robots and artificial intelligence. And the name of the movie is Ex-machina. Ex-machina, probably. Looks Latin. And teacher Lee, can you explain us why it's not ex-machine? Why it's machina?
It's Latin. It's a Latin word. There's a movie term called Deus Ex. I think it's called Machina or Machina. I can't remember which.
Machina.
Machina. Okay. Deus Ex Machina. Okay. Is a movie term that was used in the old days, probably still used today, when the hero's about to die and there's just no hope. They're just doomed. There's no way they're going to live. This rescue appears out of the sky and saves them at the last minute. Well, in the old days, a machine would lower down some god or some character to save the hero. So that technique was called God from the Machine.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie, they just titled it Ex Machina. They left off the God part, but when you see that title, you're thinking God, machine. I don't think this movie's going to end well.
Yeah, but there was some line about God, right?
Yeah.
And we will discuss it probably later. So let's start from the story itself.
Okay, let's talk about the title again. So, when I read the title for the first time, I was thinking not about like X, like from Latin. I was thinking about an X as a former X. Yeah, like an X. So actually I was thinking, okay, if it is about robots, so Ex machina means that not robot anymore, something like that. Former.
Okay.
Probably it was like intentional thing, just
it might be, yeah.
So next iteration, evolution, right? Yeah, nice idea. And now it looks like a pun, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else about the title?
Well, basically, consciousness. Human consciousness from a machine. So I didn't think about that meaning. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so let's go to the story. Who wants to start? Vasants, maybe you.
Okay, I will start. So in this movie, the guy Caleb, he was a programmer. He was working in a company, and he got a chance to work with Nathan. So it was like an contest-winning chance. So he won the contest, and he got the offer. He was teleported to the haunted place. It was in the middle of
nowhere.
Jungle. Yeah, nowhere.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So once he landed, he realized that there was a room. What do you call it? There was an office, and only one guy was taking care of that office, and that was Nathan. And he was building an artificial intelligence, a robot, and so everything was controlled by that AI. So from the entry, the fingerprint, the scanners, everything was controlled by that machine. And Caleb's job was performing a Turing test with that robot called Ava. So
let's stop for a bit for this Turing test. So who can explain what is Turing test and how it works?
Yes, a Turing test is a way to determine that a machine, an intelligent AI, it actually has consciousness.
Okay, but what is the details? How it's tested?
Nathan wanted Caleb to do this test. So to prove that his AI is like, it has consciousness like a person.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, he did a trick. He wanted that Caleb fell in love with the machine. So he chose a machine similar to their girl preferences, and he had a difficult childhood because he lost his parents at 15 years old. So everything was controlled. No? So he was like a puppet, and Nathan wanted to take advantage of that. But then some things happened, and unforeseen things for Nathan, and everything changed.
So it was a prepared experiment, right? So the circumstances was not, what's the word for that? I don't know. Was not clear enough, or how to say it, slanted.
Well, the whole setup was actually a ruse. Caleb was brought out there to do something that was kind of a side. It was actually part of a bigger plot. So he was just a pawn, like a chess game. He was a pawn in Nathan's bigger plot. Nathan had his own test he was going to do, and he needed Caleb to be part of his Turing test. So it's like a Turing test inside of a Turing test, if you know what I mean. Okay.
Some twist in the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but we probably skipped some action. So Turing test started, and what he found, what Caleb found, some robot, obviously a robot, right? And it's the interesting part of that I like this part that Caleb did not hide the robot, did not make it like distant communication. He immediately showed, look, she's obviously a robot. Now check, does she has a conscience or not? It's an interesting part. And what happened next? How test was going? Diana, anything special about test, about all these dialogues?
Well, I don't know if it were special. I just, well, of course. So the main character, Caleb, was very fascinated with the robot. Obviously, she's a beautifully made machine, right? So, and obviously intelligent. But the test itself is supposed to, okay. This is the real test, right? So, and I think it was performed. I don't remember exactly, but I read something about this Turing test, and actually, I think that it worked once. People did not know that they were communicating with the robot, but they actually believed that they are communicating with the human being. So that's actually what this test about. So this test is supposed to prove that AI has a consciousness, so can actually trick a person to believe that it has a consciousness, right? So the director of the movie wants to trick us to believe that it is really so, right? That Ava had consciousness and actually plotted, just tricked everyone and escaped. So, and that's interesting. So I liked the way that they communicated. I found that the main character to be the normal, almost teenage boy, just because his questions were kind of the imagination, right, involved over there. So he was just sitting there blinking and asking about some stupid stuff. I don't know. So, okay. Did you find something interesting about his questions during that test?
In general, when it's only started, I first of all, I don't think that Turing test is a formal thing. There is no criterion of that. no criteria of that. So it can be any communication, and if you just got fooled, it's fast. Right? And who is Turing? You know, Turing is an ancient guy for now who developed the first computer, and it was a Turing tape. We know that, and then it was built like a special computer which used some compressed air or something. So it was an ancient time. At that time, this goal was like just unbelievable. It's unbelievable that computer sometimes can trick full living person. But nowadays we have a lot of chat bots, we have Facebook bots, we have bank bots. So at some regard, without long communication, you can think that you spoke to a real person just now. Yes. So it does not look so much fantastic now, I think. Yeah. So now to understand that it's a robot, you actually have to check it from many ways, right? To ask different questions, to I don't know, if it's a chess computer, you should ask about about something, about art, about culture, about music, something like this. So what was special in these dialogues? When the first communication started, I immediately start to feel that the Hunter, it's not the guy. Hunter, it's a robot, because he was victim from the first moment. Obviously, she was hunting for him, right? It was what's interesting. So from the first minute, I started to suppose to suspect, right, that something wrong in the whole experiment. That he will be tricked in some way, and it does happen, right? At the end.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. That Vasans, please, you have a question, comment?
No, yeah. Actually, in my opinion, Eva was smarter than any person. So, and actually asked dumb questions to her. But even if he asked a smart question, Eva's answer would be more smarter than that. So we would still feel he asks, he is lesser than Eva.
But I don't know if we can use the term smarter or not smarter. I think it's all about preparation. Nowadays, if a bot, i.e. intelligence, cannot answer you to your questions, she or he, I don't know, try to joke. Try to joke something like, I will ask someone else, or let's Google it together, or something like this. It's a common trick for chatbot writers. So and I think that actually I did not understand well what kind of relation between Nathan and this search engine. But I think that it's kind of related. So I think that Nathan has access to Caleb profiles. So it was like Ava was like a special designed bot against him. She knew everything about him. She was like a weapon against him. And we can see how it worked. Probably for another guy it did not work at all. But for him it was nice. And I enjoyed this conversation because obviously the guy lost initiative from the first moment. And it was nice.
So his problem was that he was attracted to her, like to her face first, and then to her intelligence or something like that. So if he made it, yeah, they were actually discussing it with with Nathan. Yes, with Nathan. So he asked him a smart question about why he made his robot sexually attractive, right? So yeah, and well, I like the answer, actually. Why not? If you can enjoy it, why don't? Why shouldn't you enjoy it, right? So,
well, first he said, why did you even give it a gender? Why male or female? Why not just a gray box?
Right.
So he wanted to make it human-like, I guess, as an additional challenge.
Well, but actually, he answered that like all the development, all the conversation can, well, not the conversation, all the, I don't know, like evolution is possible only if it is because of genders, so to say. So we have this impulse just because we are attracted to someone, right, to the opposite sex. So probably, well, it makes sense, you know, just people are moving, you know, doing something in order to impress the the other half of the humanity, you know. So
yeah, humankind use these tricks all the time, you know, in schools, in sport events, yeah, everywhere.
I thought when he was first talking to her, my first impression of her intelligence, or her consciousness, if you will, was he would ask her a question like, or give her an instruction like, well, you choose what you want to, where you want to start. And then later, when she could ask him questions and he asked, where do I start? She sent that same answer back to him. Well, you choose. I want to see where you choose to start. So she reflected his answer back on him, but not randomly, at an exactly appropriate time. So that was my first feeling that she really had some consciousness, or intelligence at least.
And another important thing from my point of view is she doesn't look completely human from the beginning, you know, like the Japanese robot, like Yoko.
Yeah.
So if she had looked like a complete woman, she would have a stronger power against Caleb, you know, because he would have looked like a human being. Yeah, I don't know why Nathan did that.
I thought about that, and I think because Nathan was so sure in this power, so sure that it will work, so he just, it's kind of to make show from that. I will show you that it's a robot, and then you will love it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's my impression.
So do you think
Nathan was arrogant?
Yeah.
He knew that he was good, so yeah. Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Gerard has a question.
No, I said that was.
You said the question. So, but I still do not know what was this master plan. What did Nathan want to? Anyway, why did he need all this? You know, this man, this guy, and that.
Okay, let's first describe the story. Maybe we will find an answer. Okay. But small remark about genders. why he made a robot like a female? I think because it's the only choice for IT industry in future. You know, we already prohibited to write he or his in our guides. We write he, we write she and her, just to not offend feminists. So we will produce only female robots in the future. I'm sure.
So I think that women are in trouble then. The real women. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. So, what happened next? What happened next? Just test Turing, file it or success it when it comes. Succeeded when it comes. Jürgen, maybe you would like to continue.
I can't. No idea.
You can try. We can help.
What do you ask?
We still continue our story. So just stating facts. What we saw.
Yeah, there were these power cuts and sessions. And
yes, power cuts looks like a very important part of this show, I would say, of this trick, because it makes them, if I say, it makes Caleb think that they have some private time, something not recorded, and it's important part of the show, yeah. And also important part of the show that mystery, that who did these power cuts and so on. So it's important. So what else?
Yeah, so the very first time that the power cut happened during the session, yeah, Ava told Caleb that he shouldn't believe Nathan because Nathan tells lies. So, and that was kind of scary, you know, just, oof, I was very suspicious.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I actually didn't like Caleb from the, not Caleb, Nathan from the start, you know, just mysterious guy living somewhere under the hill, you know, hidden from the world, crazy scientist.
But he worked hard, as we know. Gerard,
Yes, yes.
I think these power cuts were very suspicious from the beginning, because we know the context. This is an experiment. I think even Caleb didn't believe them that they were not casual. He suspected that Nathan was behind those power cuts. So he didn't believe that Nathan wasn't able to see him and listening to him anytime.
I see. Yeah, probably. It's hard to believe, right? It's a well-controlled environment. Everything is so perfect. Guy looks like very smart one. I mean, in engineer terms of view, right? And very rich and so on. But they can't manage, you know, like that.
That's the power.
That power, yes. I had it in my flat without any problem for ages.
And you're not as wealthy as Nathan.
Right, I don't need money for that. Okay, so let's finish with the story where we stopped. Okay, so he fell in love. Can we say so? Do you agree? Diana, he
Why?
was.
No, I don't agree that he fell in love. You know, I just why in love? He just wanted, I don't know for what reason. He felt, I don't know. That seems so stupid to me. Actually, you know. Can you say that he fell in love? Do you believe that he fell in love? He wanted to. Yeah,
he wanted to kiss her, to hug her, you know, to live all the life together. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
To have nice small romance.
He wanted to help her. He was like a knight in shining armor, you know. He wanted to help the lady in distress, whatever, you know, the prisoner. He wanted to set her free. So was it love? I don't know.
I think more sympathy, I think, or empathy.
Yeah, probably.
She couldn't see the real world, you know, never been outside that room.
Yeah, that's why, Diana, I asked you so much to watch this movie, because I suspect that this magic does not work for you. But but for me,
I'm not an IT guy, you know. If I were an IT guy, probably I would fall in love. I can understand that, you know. I still can. I know that guys, they love their cars, you know, just they really love their cars. Is it the same kind of love? Can you call it love? I love my notebook, you know, but it's, what kind of love is that? You know, I miss it when something is wrong, you know, with it, you know, when I, you know, have to show it to the, my, you know, computer guy. So, but do I love it? Yes,
but
I do.
I don't think that there is something about IT guy. I think it's about just bad, you know. So I think that this trick
stupidity of the man in general. Yeah.
Okay, let's call it so. But I think that it will work very, very nice, you know, when you see a female person, so helpless, so asking for your help in this, you know, being offended by all these things, and you want to help unconsciously, and it became to be more feeling in that. Please, Gerard.
I think Caleb would have fallen in love with Ava if she had looked like at the end of the movie. So she looks like a normal woman. I think if she would have looked this way from the beginning, Caleb would have fallen in love with her, for sure.
So you also don't agree with me that he fell in love?
So all those electronic intestines does not, you know, excite you at all.
He was fascinated. He felt some empathy, but he wasn't completely in love with her.
But director of the movie, especially for you to show the scene when his dream about this kissing, you know, black and white and on some canyon. No? Okay, I have this. I have this slide. I will show you later. In our pictures, this exercise.
Yes.
Okay, so he did not fall in love with her, according to our members. Okay, so what happened next? Gerard, please.
He got confused. Let's say this way. He got confused, you know, just something happened. Young boy, no women around, you know, just hormones. Yeah, like chemistry working.
Eventually, Caleb tricked Nathan. Nathan was thought that he was a step behind Caleb, but he foresee some things like, you know, Caleb said that he wanted to get Nathan drunk, and then Nathan said, "I'm not going to drink anymore because I'm tired." But eventually, Caleb did prepare some of the computers once Nathan fall drunk, and he did some procedures that allowed Ava to escape from the facilities. But at the end, Kyoko killed Nathan. Well, I stabbed Nathan, and then Ava stabbed another time, so she wanted to escape, and she was in cahoots with Kyoko. So Kyoko helped Ava, and Ava eventually escaped, and Caleb, Nathan was dead, and Caleb was locked inside the house. I don't know whether at the end he managed to escape. Maybe.
No, he could not escape. So you see that he tried to open
I think with the iron of with the stick of the iron, the dumbbell would have the chance to escape, because the glass wasn't so it was strong, but not very, very, very strong. What do you think?
But he was trying to break the glass, and nothing happened. He just tried to do it with the chair, but I don't know.
I think the glass was much, much stronger than it should have been for a design of a simple lab. Why would you make it bulletproof, shatterproof, soundproof? Now, there was one room, if you remember, where there was a crack in the glass.
Yes.
From the robot. Yeah, now maybe they were they don't appear to be very strong. Because he was able to grab her and push her down to the ground, to the floor. So something doesn't make sense.
Well, he's making them look as much, you know, female as possible. So they're supposed to be not very strong, I guess.
No, it's just restrictions of the battery. Vasants, please, question.
Yes, we all know about Ava's linguistic expertise from the beginning of the movie, but at the end of this movie, she spent some time with the another female robot, and she managed to communicate with her. I don't understand that point, because the other robot doesn't know English, doesn't understand English. So how did she manage to communicate with her and made her stab Nathan? That was
she whispered robot language in her ear.
Yeah. Robot language, that's right.
Or maybe she spoke Japanese.
Maybe.
Okay, let's answer some few simple questions from our Padlet. And do you think those hangovers of Nathan and this drinking problem was real, or it's just a part of the trick, just like these power cuts? What do you think?
Was real. Obviously, it was real.
I thought it was real most of the movie, but at the very end, when he said, "I'm not going to drink today," like it was an easy thing to do. I began at that point to think he was faking it. Because here, this guy, he's a boxer, he's weightlifting, he's a very healthy person, and yet he's an alcoholic almost, where he gets so drunk he passes out. I think it might have been actually a trick. We don't know for sure, but
yeah, I would agree with that, especially because of all these sport activities. It sounds strange. Usually, from my experience, people who are obsessed with sport, they don't like drink so much, ruin their health.
At least they wouldn't be so fresh, next morning, because you cannot do sport activity when you've been drunk that much that you actually passed out, So, yeah, probably he was faking it.
Okay, I'm trying to share my screen now. I think we will return to questions later if we will have time. I just worried about time. Okay, can you see something?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. So Ex-machina. It's a very beginning of the movie. Have you noticed that this camera already watching him and it was presented to us? So who watching him and why?
Nathan's company.
And I didn't get it from the movie, but Nathan was an employee of Nathan's company, right?
I think so, yes.
You mean Caleb? Caleb, yes.
I think he was the CEO.
Yeah, Nathan
was so they are from the same company, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think Nathan was the CEO.
The boss.
Yeah, and he did research on his employees, and he actually picked Caleb and made it look like he won a contest, but really he wanted Caleb. He selected him from his profile. It was an internet search company, so he had profiles on everybody in the world.
Yeah. So, but for employer, maybe it's much more easy to collect all this profile, right? Because you have all the documents, you have a legal right to watch him like the whole working day, and you can manage to give special task to check what he will do and so on. So we have this clue from the very beginning of the movie that that Caleb is selected for some task, right? Okay, another one. Jürgen, what is there?
It's the entrance to the complex.
Does it look high tech enough for CEO of IT company like Google?
Not at all.
But why? Why do you think it's the same design? This design?
Because he won't be seen, recognized, maybe.
But I noticed that in the movies there are a lot of moments when they sit in some natural circumstances, like some wigwam or something, or very interesting. So it looks like Nathan has some love to that. It's interesting. It's interesting for me because I noticed that many geeks, many people who are supposed to love computers, they just like camping or something, just to hug a tree or do such things.
This might have been a movie technique too. It may have started out looking like it's very primitive technology, so that when you see the real place, the contrast is much stronger. I don't know.
Something special about interiors of this lab or home, how we call this, secret lab. Have you noticed something? What was interesting for you?
Yes, the rock inside it, and there is the cave, like a thing. It has a light inside. Like we usually have a firewood place. Yeah, that looks like that, and it has an opening, and it was built with glasses. Very expensive lab.
Yep, natural light can come in. Mountains make part of the wall.
Yeah, but speaking not only about this picture, but in general about this place. So it looks like high tech, right? All these logs, all these things. But some solutions are very strange. All this video surveillance for everything and absence of windows. I still don't understand why it's important not to have windows.
It might have been because he wanted to limit the sensory input for the robot so that she couldn't see anything except what he chose to show her. I don't know.
Jürgen, please, you want to talk?
Yeah, the furniture has a low position. Seems like.
Yeah, for relaxing sitting, right?
Yeah, and the colors are boring. No colors, colorful.
Yeah, just a lot of gray.
Yeah.
Right.
Boring.
But
Okay.
anything else? But speaking in general about manners of this COO, he wants to be always in a relaxing position, right? All this conversation. We are not employer and employee. Let's just take a beer. We are not in seminar. Just tell me what you feel, what she feels about you. It looks like pretty relaxed. So maybe it's a reason for this furniture.
I think that was also to put Caleb off guard, to make him relax and not be alert all the time. I don't know.
Yeah. But his attitude was not relaxing at all. I wouldn't feel relaxed with him, not a minute of it, because he was kind of creepy all the time.
Yeah. So sure of himself all the time. So opinionated.
Yeah. And actually, Caleb was not relaxed. He was alert all the time, I think. That is why he managed to do that trick with during these power cuts. Yeah. So when he suspected, he didn't know for sure. I don't believe that he knew that there was a camera, but he suspected, and he took a chance, the only chance actually that he had, and reprogrammed the computer, the doors, right? So that is why I understood that he was not at ease with Nathan at all. So he was alert all the time.
Jar, something about this picture or about video survival?
I was curious about this sort of post-its on the wall. She had a lot of technology.
Perfect.
Why we should
Perfect catalog. Easy to find anything.
Yes. I think it's easier to have the information inside the computer. But this way to find something here is like finding a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
But I think I can explain. It's like a habit for IT guys. These things, we call it Kanban. It's some Japan techniques which we adapt, and we write a small task on this notes, post-it notes, and put in such lists. So we have lists to do, we have lists doing now, we have lists done, and we move these post-it things. It's part of the technique Agile. We call it Agile. I don't know why. It's just a name. So probably the amount of these post-it notes tell us that the technology itself is very complicated. So never in my life I saw so many of them. So usually it's like tens, not hundreds. And so probably it's a clue for us that a guy has solved like a normal task, something like this.
Hardworking guy. Okay.
Hardworking guy. And we saw that in the movie, right? All this model number 42, all this conversation with them. So he was hardworking, I think.
I don't personally see how a single person could do that much work.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't show him like Tom Cruise doing everything but touching things in the air, working quickly. It didn't show what tools he used. If he used his hands to do this work, he couldn't do all this work in a lifetime, you know, with himself.
But I think it's all about delegation, you know. It's like, for instance, like it happening now, you know, some company located in US delegate a lot of small tasks to India, for instance, to some IT village, as we call it. So, and people in this IT village don't understand the whole task. They just solve very small and very detailed task. Just this is the input, let's write the algorithm that will get this output. That's all. Then you combine all the things together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it only showed the one helicopter bringing individual people in. It never showed any kind of a Sikorsky helicopter bringing in large crates of equipment. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. he delegated over the Skype, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's the CEO of big IT company.
So we know that there was some worker who actually did something wrong with this electricity, yeah, because that's why we have power cuts. So he complained about that. So probably some people are coming out from time to time.
Yeah.
So it's just a week of an experiment that we are seeing here. So.
Right.
And we have Kyoko.
Yes.
Maybe she's very talented, you know. Maybe she's not just cooking, but doing all those little things for him.
Possible. Yeah.
It's very likely, yes. So what about this scene? Diana, do you remember this? Something about art.
Pollock picture, yeah, about the Pollock picture. Well, actually, that was a long conversation about it. I need to watch it again because I just watched it once, you know, I didn't get all the details. So actually they were talking about the conscious movements and like intentional movements, not conscious movement, but intention, something like that. So the point of Nathan was that if Pollock wanted to put his, I don't know, strikes, right? How to call those things that he did over there? Strikes of the brush. I don't know.
Become strokes.
Strokes. Oh, that's right. Thank you. Strokes of the brush intentionally to the exact place. He would never have done this. You know, he would never have produced this piece of art because this is his famous masterpiece, actually. Well, but what was the point? Why they were talking about it? It was somehow connected with the idea of this consciousness and intelligence and everything, but I don't remember exactly the details.
What I got from it was if you're too logical and you need a reason for every stroke, you would never start. So to be creative, you've just got to start doing something and see where it goes. So I think he was saying you just have to jump in and play it by ear and let your creative mind guide the development.
So, and another point that not everything is logical, so to say, right? And especially with the human intelligence, yes, we are doing a lot of illogical things, illogical stuff, right? So, and actually, we're talking what makes human, right? Human being.
So he's kind of saying like a chaotic approach is better than a logical approach.
Sometimes, you know, with art, you know.
Not only with art, we have
example, like one example.
In IT we have some methods, and we call this method Monte Carlo method. We mean that instead of producing, yes, really, instead of producing like math-based equation, we just make some random values and then analyze them. Something like this. For instance, For instance, let me show you a simple trick of Monte Carlo method. For instance, you have to find how calculate the I forgot what was it, the area of the circle. How calculate the total area of the circle. So how we do that? We put circle, we put square, the same size of the circle, right? That's connected to the circle, and then we start to experiment. We put randomly some pieces to this to this square, and then calculate. We know exactly. We think that it's equally distributed, and then we calculate how much pieces in the square and how much in the circle, and we have equation, now. So it's hard to explain on the word, but if you see the picture, you will understand it immediately. So sometimes we use random things to have a good real numbers, and yes, and I think it's about the same. And I remember now that this guy, Caleb, right, the CEO. No, Nathan delivered this speech not once, but many times. I just recall this dialogue about what is your type of woman. Let's say it's a black one, right? Why? Because you analyze it everything, because you calculated all the parameters. No, you just have it.
You just like, yeah, you just like it.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same. It's interesting. I think it's about intuition. You know, sometimes in IT we have people with big experience. They cannot explain you why it's happened, but we hire them for their intuition because they predict things, and how it's happened we don't know.
Well, what is intuition in this case? I think that this is experience, you know, and it comes with experience. I mean, the IT guys example that you're just talking about.
Yeah. But they don't have explanations. That's the problem.
That's right. They cannot explain it, but they just kind of feel it. So, yeah, I understand what you're talking about. But okay, let's call it intuition. That's fine.
Okay, so another one, black and white dream, and something with boxing. How we describe it? It's not a laugh. I can think.
We call it a punching bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's romantic about punching bag? Where did you find romance here? Punching bag and two people kissing.
Okay.
Seemed like his attention was easy to distract.
So Tishuli was distracted by a punching bag. He didn't notice people kissing, so no romance in there.
That's right.
What's please?
Yes, this scene conveyed the message of both human had the sexual attraction towards the robot, the female robots. He has mentally.
She's not a robot over there. You see, she has female body, skin,
no.
all the things. No.
Look at the top. She's a robot.
Is she a robot?
This is the Asian robot.
It's at the bottom, but at the top.
At the bottom. Mm-hmm.
I thought she was all
at the
human.
top, yes. At the top, yes.
I thought she was all human. Okay.
And it's his dream, you know. It's a dream of Caleb, and he obviously has a robot in his dream, and not a woman, right?
Oh my goodness! If I start telling you my dreams, it doesn't mean anything, you know. It's just a dream.
Yeah, dreams are weird.
Okay,
sometimes,
so
yes.
It's a coincidence, right?
Well, it's not a coincidence. He is sitting over there in the closed space, right? So he is working with the robot, yes, which looks like a beautiful woman. At least her face is beautiful, yes, and okay, the figure. So he's thinking about it all the time. It's like he is kind of stressed, right, all the time. So that is why he had these weird dreams. Well, I don't know.
Well, I'm not convinced.
Okay.
So he, for some reason, he didn't have like dream about cattle or about tap in the bus, but about this.
Maybe he had, you didn't see the whole dream. Maybe he had something about cattle over there. Uh-huh.
I don't know why I share this picture, but I just love this scene about dancing.
Yeah, it was very nice. Dance, but very weird.
Mm.
Would you like to dance in this way?
Well, to me, this scene showed me two things. One, you don't expect him to be a disco dancer
Mhm.
because he's an intelligent, logical thinking designer, engineer kind of guy. And yet he can disco dance with his robot. But my
Yeah,
second
he's a good
question is,
dancer.
why would you program a robot to dance? I mean, it's nice, but what's the goal of your whole program? To me, it's a waste of resources in a way to spend the time and money to make your robot dance when you're still working on some ultimate goal. You know what I mean? Seems kind of a
No.
frivolous use of
But
resources.
if you are
Yeah.
such a good dancer, you want to have a partner who are as good as you are, So what's the reason to be a good dancer and dance alone? Just you need a partner.
Okay, please don't laugh at me, but I have a book in my library, and its title is how to learn how to dance for a programmer, and there is algorithm of dancing. There is algorithm of dancing.
Wow.
So dancing is well studied, and there are algorithms, there are rules of how to, I don't know, involve one movement to another movement, and programmers like that because it has algorithms.
I'll tell you the secret. It does not work without practice, just actual one. You need to stand up and actually do it in order to learn how to do it. Yeah.
You cannot learn swimming just reading the book.
That's right. Yes. On the shore. Just reading about it.
But speaking of robot, if I had a choice which kind of robot to buy first, I would consider the dancing robot as well.
Dancing robot sounds good.
I think
Go ahead, Jordan.
The robot was something more than a dancer robot. I think she was like a prostitute or something like this. Okay,
Why a prostitute? Why not a wife prostitute? She was a housekeeper, she was his wife.
Well,
why to call her a prostitute? Oh my goodness.
She was sex on demand, right?
A slave. She was a slave.
A slave, okay.
Sexual slave.
Yeah. One thing this scene showed me was that he really had total disregard for his robots. He saw them as things. Dance. She starts dancing. Stop. Let's make love. She starts doing that. She had to do every single thing that he commanded, and he treated her like an object. So I kind of saw here that he was kind of a heartless person.
But she was she is an object, right?
Yes, teacher Lee, do you expect an object from your kettle when you want coffee? Not now, please.
Yeah, but this is different. I mean, she looks like a human. She acts like a human. I've got a.
So you got tricked as well, teacher Lee. Oh my goodness, you're tricked by her looks, but she.
I would be more appreciative of my.
Okay, but she's like a vacuum cleaner, Just do say thank you to a vacuum cleaner every time you just vacuum your house.
But Diana, I think now you understand my point better, right? If you can trick teacher Lee, very logical person.
Yes.
So what to say about Nathan, small guy without
That's right, absolutely. Oh my goodness, guys.
Well, now let me say this, okay? You're trying to create consciousness, right? This is his goal, is to create consciousness, right? Which we would kind of consider a life form. So if you're trying to create a human-like creature, wouldn't you try to treat it like a human instead of like a